about this whole relationship with the media as building relationships and building community. So first of all, be interesting. Be passionate about what you're talking about. If you don't act like you care about it, no one else is going to act like they care about it. I mean, I think one of the myths of the media is they're sitting around waiting to pick up the phone and hear the next great story, and that's really not true because they're suffering from information overload. There are way more companies trying to get their attention than they have time to talk to. So just coming into that conversation with that in mind is really important. Timing is really a great asset that companies can work with in working with reporters, primarily because reporters deal in news. News is their currency. And if you start talking about information and disclosing it too early, it's not going to be perceived as news to reporters, and you may have lost an opportunity to really get coverage at a time when you need it. So if an opportunity comes along, the first thing you do is, does this meet our business goals? Is there some benefit for us getting out early and taking advantage of this opportunity? There's things that you can do besides disclosing product details before it's ready. Having a strong point of view, for example. Starting to precondition the market for when you will have a solution, talking about the problem that you're addressing. Really, companies need to do a good job of creating a concise, compelling story for why they matter. It needs to be relatively short and something that we call an elevator pitch that would make it very easy for them to catch someone's attention. Think in terms of headlines. Make sure that you come to every interview with what are the top 3 messages that you want to get across, because quite frankly, a reporter's probably not going to remember more than that. So really keeping crystal clear and concise on the message that you want to get across. The other thing is when you have a big media opportunity, don't just think of that one piece. Think about what other related content that you could be publishing through your social channels or sharing media wins through social channels. Companies who are really good at this actually communicate with reporters on an ongoing basis, not just when they have a big news item, but when there's something in the news has come up that they think the reporter might be interested in, or sharing points of view. So creating compelling content that reporters would be interested in, whether it's news related or not, would be one thing. Reading reporters. If you have a list of your top 10 influencers, you should be paying attention to what they're writing on a regular basis, commenting on their articles, connecting with them on social channels, because you're building that relationship. So at the time when you do want to get their attention, there's some recognition and context for what you want to talk to them about. And my recommendation is definitely to be prepared. So before anything actually happens, think about what are the most difficult questions that a reporter could ask your company, your startup. Oftentimes, there's a change in management at startups. That can be perceived as a crisis, especially if it's at the CEO level. Companies who are releasing early products and running into product problems in the day of social media, that can actually spread pretty quickly and can damage a company's reputation. Those types of things are the things that you really want to be prepared for. So my recommendation is really think about the toughest questions a reporter could ask and take the time to answer them in a way where you could quickly respond. Not responding to the media during a crisis is a bad strategy. Primarily because eventually you're going to want to reach out to these people and get them to pay attention to you and cover your positive news. And if you haven't responded to them, chances are they're not going to respond to you. I think press kits are really a little bit outdated. I think it's more important to provide digital access to whatever information a reporter will need to write the story. And they still go to a company's website to look for that information. In fact, one of the most, we hear from reporters one of the most frustrating things is they can't find a media contact or the right media information on a company's website. So that's still really important. Also, you can actually do a better job responding to a lot of reporter calls if you issue something very quickly on your blog. Create something that's not a defensive answer, but more of an explanation of what's going on with the company. Oftentimes, if this comes from the CEO, it brings a lot more impact. You can actually get it out there very quickly. So when reporters call, instead of having to explain to them, you can just point them to sort of one record of truth on your blog.